Beautiful people, happy Thursday. Just gonna allow a few minutes for people to come on in. Yes. Hello. Can you guys hear me? I'm just testing on my computer. Can you guys hear me? And there's a lag between what I'm actually doing and when you guys see me. Just testing on my computer. Okay, so I can't tell who's in here. For some reason today it's not showing me names. So we're just gonna go ahead and get started. If you have a nice quiet space in your house, inside or outside, you can get set up with your mat, somewhere that you won't be disturbed for the next hour, hour and a half. And if you have a yoga block and a blanket, those are very helpful to have as well. And we'll just go ahead and jump right in. So hi everyone, my name is Paisley Parvati, and it's great to have you here with me this morning. Thank you for your presence. So wherever you are this morning, go ahead and make your way to your mat. And I like to use a folded blanket. You can also use a pillow. And I'm gonna put that right underneath my hips and just sit with my hips propped up a little bit, just slightly higher than the knees, and beginning to ground down here through the entire base of the body, hips and knees, just feeling the space where the hips meet the floor, grounding down into your base, feeling supported by the earth. You can bring the eyes to close and drawing the spine tall. You can imagine that someone has a string attached to the crown of your head and is pulling you up by that string. You can roll the shoulders a few times, rolling them up to the ears and down the back. Just plugging the shoulders down into the sockets. Hands resting lightly on the knees. Coming into this present moment. Really settling in here on your mat. You can bring the hands together at heart center And to begin our practice today, we'll share in creating the universal sound of Om. So we'll take a full exhale, full inhale, next exhale to Om. So together exhale, full inhale, filling up the belly. Feeling the vibration through the head, with hands at heart center, taking a moment to set your intention for your practice today. Could be as simple as, I am enough. I am enough. I am enough. And just to note, I am sharing a house with 7 other people right now, so you may be hearing some noises in the background. There's a 3-year-old that lives here, and someone's making lunch in the kitchen right now, so any sounds that you may be hearing, that's what it is. And same way, there might be sounds happening in your space, just letting them be in the background and maintaining the focus on your own practice this morning. So keeping the eyes closed, keeping the spine nice and tall, hands can rest back down onto the knees, beginning to deepen the breath, drawing air in and down, expanding belly, expanding chest, full expansion of the lungs, gently holding the breath in at the top. And then exhale, expelling all of the air, releasing everything out. Navel gently draws to spine. Again, full deep inhale, expanding belly, expanding chest, drawing in. Holding at the top for a moment, and then exhale. You can open the mouth if you'd like to really release as we get started here. Gently drawing the navel to the spine, emptying out. And continuing at your own pace, full deep inhale and full deep exhales. Inhaling, beginning to engage our Ujjayi pranayama, our ocean sounding breath, creating a slight constriction in the back of the throat as you draw the breath in. Exhaling, constricting the throat, breathing out through the nose, almost as if you are fogging up a mirror. So if you were to do this with your mouth open, like a like that kind of feeling in the throat, but we're keeping the mouth closed and doing this through the nose. Gentle constriction in the throat, creating heat in the body, making a noise like an ocean with the breath. And the breath is the foundation for our practice. If at any moment throughout today's practice you lose the breath or the breath becomes shallow, just modify the pose and come into any position where you can regain connection with the breath. As we stretch and strengthen our bodies today, the breath will facilitate the movement and help us deepen into our postures. But most importantly, the breath helps us connect deeper with our own internal experience and calm the mind. So a few more rounds here, again keeping that gentle constriction. Really bringing this breath into the belly, fully expanding chest as you inhale deeply, and then exhaling, contracting navel to spine. Feeling the movement in the core here. And then bringing the spine up nice and tall again, we'll plant our hands firmly onto our knees and begin to bring circle shapes into the spine, really I'm leaning to the right side first, and then forward to the left, and then back, breathing into the side body here and sides of the hips. I did a pretty intense asana practice yesterday, so I'm a little bit sore and tight through my hips here and the sides of my obliques. So just finding any tight spaces and bringing breath and fresh prana into those spaces. Reverse the direction of your circle if you haven't. Really pressing down into the base of the body as you move. Breathing into the root chakra base of the body and breathing into the belly, facilitating the opening here. One more breath cycle. And inhaling, returning to center, using the hands as levers, pulling the chest forward through the shoulders, arching up through the spine, looking up at the ceiling if that's comfortable, and then exhaling, rounding down, creating an angry cat shape. Again, using the hands and arms as levers, pulling your shoulders down and forward. Moving with your breath, inhaling, opening, exhaling, rounding. Inhaling, heart shines forward and up. Exhaling, heart rounds down and in. Chest or chin tucking to chest. Engaging the belly muscles here. Keeping this movement as a full body engagement. So we find a lot of poses in yoga. It appears easy because it is possible to do a lot of poses by just dumping into the joints and the bones rather than engaging the muscles. But it's really super important to engage all of our muscles in every single pose. That will bring us the greatest benefit both physically and mentally. Inhaling, coming to center, we'll reach the arms up gently to look up if that's comfortable in the neck, and exhaling, reaching the arms down and away from you. Moving with breath, inhale, arms reach up, look up, exhale, arms reach down, look down. Moving at your own pace, imagine someone is holding onto your wrists and is pulling the wrists out away from your torso as you press down strongly into the hips, into the base of the body. Engaging core muscles strongly here as you breathe. Creating our own resistance. Moving the arms as if moving through water. And then we'll begin a side-to-side flow. So inhaling up, exhaling, twisting to the left. Inhale back up, exhale, twisting to the right. With each inhale, spine waves a little longer. Each exhale, twisting a little bit more. And you can keep looking up and down as you move, allowing the motion to come into the full length of the spine, which includes the neck. And see how fluid you can possibly make this movement. Inhales flowing into exhales. Twisting, flowing into reaching, and vice versa. Next time we land at the left side, pause and hold. Plant both hands down. Right hand is planting onto the the left knee, and left hand is planting behind you. Inhale, spine comes long. Exhale, twist a little bit more. Notice where the twist is coming from. We want to twist from the center of our body, the chest and shoulders opening up toward the left side, and keeping that right hip firmly planted onto the mat. Inhaling tall, exhaling, twist more. Next, inhale, raise both arms up off of the mat, allowing this twist to truly come from the core, using the core muscles to hold rather than using the arms. And flex out through both hands, all the fingertips strongly. Again, full body engagement, pressing the feet gently into the mat as well. Inhale. Exhale, unwind back to center. We'll inhale at center and exhale, twisting over to the right, planting firmly through both hands. With each inhale coming longer in the spine and exhale, twisting a little bit more over the right shoulder this time. Let's raise up both hands up off of the floor, bringing the arms parallel to the floor. Allowing the twist to truly come from the core, using the core muscles to hold and engaging through all 10 fingers. Inhaling long, exhaling, twist more, engaging belly muscles here, pressing the hips down. One more inhale. Exhale, releasing the hands down, come long. Exhale, twist a little bit more. And then exhaling to center. We'll inhale, arms reach again. Exhale, waving to the left, bringing the left forearm down onto the mat. Again, notice where that right hip is. There's a tendency for it to want to pop up, but really press down through the right hip, right knee, as we reach over to the left. Spinning chest and shoulders up toward the sky, looking up to that right hand if it's comfortable on your neck. And checking in with the breath. Enjoying this. You can begin to take big circles with the right arm in one direction, opening up the whole right side body, and reverse the direction of your circle. You can find some organic movement here, if just noticing if there's any spaces that are extra tight or sore, and breathing into those spaces. Can bring that right arm down and away from you, keeping the left ear toward the left shoulder as you reach the right fingertips away, and breathing into the stretch in the right side of the neck. Inhaling up, and we'll inhale, arms reach, exhale to the other side. So coming down to the right forearm here, and spinning chest, shoulders up toward the sky, looking up to that left hand if it's comfortable on the neck, as you breathe into the left side of the body. Left hip and knee is planting down to the mat as you reach. And finding organic movement. You can find the full range of motion in that left shoulder, bringing big circles into the arm, one direction and the other. Finding any juicy spots that are extra tight and just bringing love into those. Bringing the right hand down closer to the mat. The right ear is pressing toward right shoulder. Left fingertips are reaching out. And breathing into the stretch in the left side of the neck here. Enjoying this intense sensation. One more inhale here. Exhale, we'll rise back up to center, gently removing anything that you've used under your hips, and we'll come into a tabletop position. Now remembering the cat and cow that we practiced seated, we'll bring that same flexion into the spine, inhaling, rounding the spine down and looking up. Exhaling, tucking the chin into the chest, really pushing the mat away from you as you puff up the center of your back to the sky. Inhaling, this is a cow position here, and exhaling, angry cat. I always want to say the opposite for those guys for some reason. Continuing your cat and cow with your own breath. You can find organic movement here, perhaps taking circles in the hips. Actually, let's all go ahead and do that. Bring the hips to the left side, to the back, to the right side, and to the front, and just explore what that movement feels like. Opening up through the sides of the outside of the hips, the hip flexors, perhaps lingering in one spot. It's extra juicy and breathing into that stretch. And reverse the direction of your circle, so moving right, back, and then left, then forward, planting strongly through the hands as you move. If there are any spots that need some extra love, hang out there and just breathe into it. And then bringing knees wide, big toes to touch, send the hips back, forehead to the mat, release it down for a child's pose, surrendering the weight of the body down into the mat. Can keep the arms engaged here, really pressing the fingers down strong into the mat, engaging all of the muscles in the arms so that your elbows are lifted up off of the mat as you press yourself back. I'm lifting my head so that you can hear me, but your forehead is pressed firmly into the mat and releasing your weight of your body down. Child's pose is a beautiful resting position. If at any point in your practice you would like to rest, go ahead and assume this position and reconnect with your breath. Looking up toward the fingertips, start to walk out one hand at a time, like you're a little kitty cat pulling the mat back to you. Stretching, breathing into the opening in the armpits, perhaps even waving side to side a little bit here, opening up. And then we'll begin a little bit of a flow here, so inhaling up to our tabletop position, and exhaling, knees come wide down into child's pose. Continuing with your breath, inhaling forward, exhaling back to child's pose. If this is causing any discomfort on your knees, you can just adjust in any way that works for you, whether that means bringing the knees closer together to come back, or just skipping this movement altogether and continuing with your cat and cow movements. You can also always use a blanket underneath the knees to add some extra padding. That can be helpful, especially if you're on like a hard wooden floor. Otherwise, continuing the motion, and then we'll bring a cat-cow motion into this flow. So bringing the heart forward on the inhale, exhaling, rounding back and down, rounding forward, inhale, cow, exhale, rounding back, rounding forward, pressing into the hands to pop the back of the body up, cat or cow, and then bringing the hips back down. Finding your own flow here, finding your own movement, making it fluid. Flowing the spine, however feels good for you today. You can bring the movement into the neck as well. Perhaps rounding chest toward the chin toward the chest as you come forward, and then looking up as you come back. All the while breathing. And then we'll come back to tabletop, curl the toes under, and lift the hips forward, downward facing dog, first down dog of the day. But before we rest in dog, I want you to come forward into a plank position. So holding plank, shoulders are directly over the wrists, one long line of energy shining out from the crown of your head through your heels. And notice where the hips are here. There's a tendency to maybe sag or lift the hips up to make it easier. We want to bring those hips into alignment with the rest of our body. So one long line of energy, one stiff board of the body. And holding here, drawing navel to spine, engaging all the muscles to hold. And then keeping the hands and feet where they are, now lift your hips up and back to downward facing dog. So this is the correct spacing of your hands and feet for your down dog. And shake the head yes and no here, releasing the crown of the head down to the mat. Drawing belly to spine, imagine someone has a string attached to your hips now and is pulling you up to the ceiling by that string. Can come up onto the balls of the feet a little bit more, bending the knees, and then send the heels back more, and then lift the hips again, just to feel what that feels like in your body, flexing the full length of the legs. So again, bending the knees, coming onto the balls of the feet a little bit more. Inhale here, and then exhale, send the heels back to the mat, pressing, and then lifting the hips. Heart is pressing through to the knees. Belly is sucking up and in as you engage your core muscles, engage pelvic floor muscles, and breathe here in dog. One more breath cycle. Exhale, bend the knees, look at the hands, and step the feet up to meet the hands. Inhale, halfway lift, flat spine, and exhale, forward fold. So in forward fold, our knees can bend generously, chest is working toward the feet, belly into thighs. You can plant the hands down or keep them wrapped behind your ankles here. Or if that's just not possible for you today, you can bring your hands anywhere on the knees or anywhere on the legs except for the knees. Enjoying your forward fold. Now inhale, half lift, coming to a flat spine and plugging the shoulders into the spine. One long line of energy from the crown of the head shining out through the tailbone. And again, hands can rest anywhere on the legs except for the knees. You can also bring your hands down to the mat or to a block. This is how you would use the block. One more inhale here and exhale again, deeply bending the knees as you release the crown of the head. And then inhale, rolling up vertebrae by vertebrae, coming into your mountain pose, Tadasana. And we'll move into our Surya Namaskar A, Sun Salutations. So planting down for a moment into Tadasana, take a look down at your feet. You can pick up the toes and spread them apart and set them back down. Feet are hips width distance. And then stacking the shoulders over the hips, engaging belly muscles here. Shoulders roll down and open. Rolling the thumbs back to the back of your mat. Gentle muscle engagement throughout the entire body. Bringing the head directly over the shoulders. And engaging belly muscles here as you breathe for a moment in mountain pose. So if I came and pressed on your chest, you wouldn't fall over because you're strong like the mountain. Full exhale here. And then we'll inhale, arms reach up, look up. Exhale, forward fold, swan diving down. Hands to mat or the legs. Bending knees deeply here. You can grab one hand to, or each hand to each elbow, using the weight of the arms to pull you down more as you sway. Shaking the head yes and no, releasing the neck. And then we'll inhale, flat spine again, halfway lift. Exhale, stepping back to our plank position. Holding here in plank for a moment, imagining your body as a stiff board. And then just gently bending the elbows only an inch here And notice which direction you're bending the elbows. If they're coming out to the sides, we want to actually wrap those elbows in toward the center of the body, so the eye of the elbow, the center part of your elbow, is facing forward. Pressing down through the L shape, the index finger and thumb of both hands. Eyes of the elbow facing forward. And then exhaling, bending just an inch or two. Inhaling back up. Exhaling, bending just a few inches. Inhale up, strongly engaging belly here. Exhale, bending a few inches. Inhale up, continuing. Exhale and inhale. Exhale, inhale. One more, exhale, inhale, coming back to our strong plank position. We'll shift both feet over to the right side, coming onto the knife edge of the right foot, lifting up through the left hand. If you'd like to modify, you can bring that right knee down to the mat, kickstanding the right shin out back behind you. So in this side plank, we're stacking the shoulders on top of each other, stacking the arms, and really pressing into the full right side of the body, working to lift the hips. Notice if your chest is rounding down toward the floor, we want to really open up to the sky here. If you want more, you can lift that left leg. Breathe. One more inhale and exhale, coming back to center. Same thing, other side. I'll turn so you can see me, so I can face you. So coming back into our strong plank, belly is engaged, navel draws to spine. Elbows, the eyes of the elbows facing forward, bending just a few inches. Inhaling, coming back up. Exhaling, bending. Inhaling up. I'm working too, if you can't tell. Exhale, bending. Inhale, straightening. Few more. One more. Inhale, coming up strong, planting the left hand into the center of the mat, coming onto the side of the left foot, lifting up tall, side plank. If you'd like to modify, you can bring that left knee down, stacking the shoulders. You can look up to that right hand for a balance challenge, really pressing through the side of the left side of the body here, really lifting those hips up. If you want more, you can raise the right leg. One more inhale and exhale, coming back to plank position, bringing the knees wide, big toes touch, coming down for child's pose. Just catching the breath here for a moment. Warming up the core, surrendering everything down. And then inhale, coming back up to your tabletop, bending the toes underneath to come into your down dog. Walking out your dog here, bending one knee and the other. You can shift the hips side to side here, finding organic movement. Breathing deeply as you walk out your dog. You can spread the toes, find movement in the ankles, perhaps taking ankle circles with one foot and then the other. And then finding stillness in your dog, so really pressing the chest back toward the belly, drawing the belly to spine, releasing the crown of the head down to the mat, and breathing deeply for a few rounds here in your dog. One more breath cycle. And then inhale. Exhale, bend the knees, look at the hands, stepping feet up to meet the hands. Continuing with Surya Namaskar. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold, knees bend generously, crown of the head down to the mat. Inhale, rolling up vertebrae by vertebrae. Shoulders stack over the hips, shoulders roll down the back, thumbs opening up to the back of the mat. Pressing the feet down, engaging belly muscles in Tadasana pose. And then we'll inhale, arms reach up, look up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift, flat spine. Exhale, planting the hands, stepping back to your plank. And then here we'll go ahead and move through a vinyasa. So knees, chest, and chin coming to the mat. Inhale, keeping the hands planted, bringing them next to the rib cage as you use the back of your body to arch up into a cobra here. Inhale for a moment in cobra, and exhale, forehead to mat, curling the toes under, pressing into your down dog. Enjoying a breath cycle in down dog, getting any wiggles out, and then coming to stillness. Exhaling, bending the knees, looking at the hands, stepping feet up to meet the hands. Inhale, half lift, flat spine. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rolling up vertebrae by vertebrae. Arms reach up as you look up. Exhale, Samastitihi, hands to heart center. Really engaging belly muscles here. Again, inhale, arms reach. Exhale, forward fold, swan diving all the way down. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, plant the hands, stepping back. Plank pose, strong. You can take a Chaturanga Dandasana here, or knees, chest, and chin coming down. Worming forward, bringing hands next to the rib cage, using the back body here as you arch up into cobra pose. Hanging out for a moment here in cobra. Lift up the hands just an inch or two off of the mat, feeling what it feels like to just use your back body muscles to hold you up here. And then bringing the hands back down, forehead to mat, curl the toes under, and back for downward facing dog. Breathing here in dog for a breath cycle. Inhale and exhale, bend the knees, look at the hands, stepping feet up to meet the hands. Inhale, half lift, flat spine. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rolling up vertebrae by vertebrae. Arms reach up. Exhale, hands to heart center, Samastitihi. Inhale, arms reach up, look up. Slight back bend if that's comfortable. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift, flat spine. Exhale, this time we'll step back with the right foot for a runner's lunge. So in runner's lunge, the left knee is directly over the left ankle, pressing back strongly through the right toes. And you can find a little bit of forward and backward movement here, as if you're a runner getting ready to start the race. So you can push yourself forward with that back leg so that we're engaging the whole back leg. And then go ahead and set down that right knee. We'll sweep the arms up and overhead, energetically drawing both thigh bones together and belly engaged. Reaching the arms up here. We'll take a deep inhale. Exhale, bringing hands out in front of us, full extension through all 10 fingertips. Inhale here, and then start to bend that left elbow as if we're drawing back the string on a bow and arrow, and keep going all the way back, twisting more until you have both arms spread out long ways on the mat. Again, the twist is coming from the center of the body here, core muscles. Notice where your hips are. We want both hips to be squared to the front of the mat. So gently pulling that left hip back, right hip coming forward as you twist. Breathing here for a moment more. And then exhaling back to center. Inhaling, arms reach, taking a slight back bend. Circle the arms away from you, moving the thumbs forward to externally rotate the arms as you gently move them back to the center, back behind you. And perhaps this is enough, just energetically drawing the palms and wrists together, or perhaps you'd like to go ahead and bend your elbows, interlace the fingers, and then pulling the hands together, wrists together behind you, opening up the shoulders, shining the heart up toward the sky. If your hands are interlaced, please make sure that you're not splaying out, but rather activating the full length of both arms by holding your palms together, drawing the wrists together strongly. Gentle arch in the spine. One more inhale, and exhale, releasing everything down. Stepping back, downward facing dog. Releasing crown of the head to mat. Walk out your dog for a moment. One more inhale. Exhale, bending the knees. Look at the hands, stepping feet up to meet the hands. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, forward fold, bending knees generously as you need to. And inhale, rolling up vertebrae by vertebrae. Arms reaching up, looking up to the sky. Gentle back bend if that's comfortable. And exhale, hands to heart center. Samastitihi. Strong engagement through the core muscles, always drawing up those pelvic floor muscles. And inhale, arms reach. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift, flat spine. Exhale, plant the hands. This time we'll step back with our right. No, it is left. I'm getting my sides mixed up. So now we're coming into a deep runner's lunge on the right side. And in runner's lunge again, right knee is stacked directly over the right ankle. Breathing here for a moment in lunge. You can start to work that back heel forward and back a little bit, shining the heart out through the shoulders. Just coming up on the fingertips here, so noticing if we're dumping into our hands. Really want to use our core muscles to hold ourselves up here as we rock back and forth as if we were ready to take a jump and get running on our race here. Breathing into the left psoas muscle where the leg meets the torso, and then set that left knee down. I'll spin so I'm facing you again. And we'll draw the thigh bones together, draw belly in as we reach the arms up and overhead. Noticing where the hips are here, if they're dumping down, if we're dumping into our bones and joints, we want to zip up through the center line of the body, tucking the tailbone underneath us as we reach the arms. Inhale here. Exhale, hands reaching out in front of us, activating through all 10 fingertips. We'll inhale. Exhale, starting to draw the right hand back behind us as if we're drawing a bow and arrow, and then continuing to open up through that right arm and twisting strongly here. Noticing the hips, right hip drawing back, left hip drawing forward here. Planting strongly through both feet. So pressing through the top of the left foot and the bottom of the right foot. Really reaching through those arms as we twist. One more inhale and exhale here. And then inhale, reaching arms forward again and up. And then we'll externally rotate the thumbs, so thumbs coming to the front of the mat as we reach the fingertips out and away from us to draw the hands together at the back. Perhaps you'd like to stay here, just energetically drawing the palms together, creating your own resistance. Or bend your elbows, interlace the hands, interlacing the other way now, so the other thumb is going to be on top. It might feel weird because it's going to be the opposite of what you naturally do. And then drawing the hands and wrists together, pulling them down back behind you as you shine the heart up toward the sky. Breathing the heart open through the shoulders. Gentle back bend here if you have the control. And notice if that back bend is coming from just, again, relaxing into the bones. We want to make sure that our bellies are really engaged to protect the spine as we're leaning back. A few more breaths here. Really drawing those wrists and palms together if the hands are interlaced. And then inhale, exhale, release arms up. Inhaling here for a moment and exhaling hands down to the mat, stepping back into downward facing dog, or go ahead and go into your child's pose if you'd like to rest. Reconnecting with the breath here. I'm going to flip back around. Enjoying down dog or cobra, wherever, or child's pose, wherever you are. And then everyone coming back into downward facing dog. Bend the knees, look at the hands, stepping feet up to meet the hands. Inhale, halfway lift, flat spine. Exhale, forward fold, crown of the head releasing down to the mat. And inhale, rolling all the way up, vertebrae by vertebrae, shoulders roll down the back, looking up. Tadasana, once more. And then we'll bend the knees deeply here, reaching arms up to the sky. Sitting back for our chair pose. In chair pose, really engaging the glutes here. Notice if the tailbone wants to pop up, we round it down and draw it under. Really engaging the booty, engaging the thighs. One thing is helpful if you are noticing that your knees want to either buckle in or come out, you can hold a block in between your knees, and that will be a good alignment for you. Noticing where the arms are, we want to bring those upper arm bones right in alignment with the ears. Breathing, almost done, here at least. And then exhale, forward folding, releasing everything down, releasing crown of the head. And then inhale, half lift, flat spine. Exhale, stepping back into plank. We'll come knees, chest, chin, or lowering all the way down any way you'd like. And then planting the hands alongside the ribcage again, we'll arch back for cobra. Big toes to touch behind you, completing the energetic circuit in the body. Noticing the elbows, we want to draw them in toward the ribcage. Breathing here. And then exhaling, bringing the hands down in front of you, using the hands as a pillow as you rest down one cheek onto your hands. Just relaxing for a moment here. And then keeping the right hand where it is, resting the right side of your face on that hand, we can bring the left hand back behind us, bend the left knee, and perhaps you just stay here. Perhaps you'd like to go ahead and grab that left toes or left ankle and beginning to draw the left ankle into the left glute. And then activating the left leg. And the way you can do that is by pressing the left thigh into the mat And imagine that you are energetically drawing the left kneecap to the back of your mat. So away from your face. And just that energetic engagement will activate the left quad as we pull that ankle into our butt. Breathing for one more moment. And then exhale, releasing. Same thing, other side. So you'll flip your cheek to resting your left cheek now, but I'll stay here so you can hear me. So keeping the left cheek rested down, we'll reach back for our right hip, our right ankle now. And perhaps just the reaching is enough. Perhaps you'd like to actually grab that right ankle, right toes, and pull them into the right glute now, energetically engaging the right thigh, the quad muscle, and imagining that you are moving your right kneecap down away from you to the other side of the mat. Breathing into this beautiful stretch. One more inhale. And exhale, releasing everything back, just resting here for a moment. And then we're going to move into some back work today. So bringing the forehead to the mat, go ahead and bring your arms in alongside your rib cage with the elbows tucked back. We'll exhale here. Inhale, lifting the forehead up off of the mat here again for cobra pose. And then we'll reach the arms out long in front of us. So legs can stay planting down, firmly planting the tops of the feet into the mat, engaging through the full length of the legs so much that your knees come up off of the mat, but the rest of your quads and your feet are pressing down firmly. One more inhale here, see if you can rise up a little bit taller. And then exhale, bending the elbows, resting the head, forehead, or chin back, or cheek, back onto the mat. Or onto this pillow you're creating with your hands. We'll come up again. So exhale here, bringing forehead to mat, and inhale, starting to rise up with the arms outstretched in front of you, really engaging the back side of the body to lift, really pressing down the toes and the tops of the feet into the mat. One more inhale. And exhale, if you're bringing your cheek down, go to the other side, or resting the forehead down. And we'll exhale, inhale, rising up, this time lifting the legs as well. So full body engagement, really reaching out through the toes and through the fingertips. Feel like you're reaching your limbs away from the center of the body, and strongly engaging the glutes and the entire back body to lift. Engaging your breath here, deep inhales and exhales. One more inhale to lift just an inch more, and then exhale, releasing down. Nice work, almost done here. For our last pose here, bringing the forehead to the mat, bringing the hands alongside the rib cage. You can bend the knees, reach back to grab the tops of the feet, and you can just pull the tops of the feet down into the glutes, engaging the kneecaps to pull them away from you. So it's the same motion that we just practiced, one leg at a time, but this time we're doing it with both legs. Strongly engaging both quads. If you'd like to take this deeper, roll the shoulders back, press the feet into the hands so much that all of your body starts to levitate up off the mat. I always feel like I'm levitating in this pose. Breathing deeply here. Balancing on the hips. If this is painful on your hips, this can be especially painful if you're on a hard floor. You can use a blanket underneath you to pad yourself up. We'll exhale, coming down, releasing for a moment. I just want to check something. Okay. So releasing, we'll come up again, bending the knees, grabbing back, and then rolling the shoulder blades as you lift the head, kicking the feet into the hands so much that you start to levitate up off the mat, opening the chest. You can look out in front of you a little bit. Notice where your chin is. We don't want to tuck the chin too much or open the chin too much, but just imagine the neck as an extension of your spine, looking out in front of you a few feet or so. One more inhale to lift and kick more, and then exhaling, releasing it down. I'm sweating, so I know you guys are working too. Beautiful. We'll press up into tabletop position, and then bringing the knees wide, moving back into child's pose again, releasing low back here. Bringing forehead to mat, releasing, surrendering the full weight of the body down into the earth. As you breathe, reconnecting to breath. Resting here for a moment in child's pose. Great job, you all. And then tucking the toes under for our last downward facing dog of the day. Can find movement for a breath or so in down dog, and then finding stillness. Belly draws toward the spine. Hips are lifting up like someone has a string there is pulling you up. Shoulders and chest really pressing in toward the knees. Releasing the head down. Few more breaths resting in the stillness. And then bending the knees, look at your hands, stepping feet up to meet the hands. Inhale, half lift, flat spine. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rolling up vertebrae by vertebrae. Rolling the shoulders down. And we'll move into some balance poses. So if you have a block or a heavy book or anything that's about this shape and size, you can use it. And we'll find the center of our mats, finding Tadasana pose, getting engaged in the core, and bringing the weight into the left side of the body, into the left foot. We'll start to sweep that right foot back behind us, coming into an airplane pose here with the arms coming alongside the body. And then if you'd like, you can bring the arms out in front for warrior three. Noticing where the hips are, we want to keep the hips level, so not stacking the hips or collapsing the hips, but bringing both hips into alignment. And noticing where that back leg is, we want to point the right toes down to the mat, pressing out strongly through the right heel. And then if you have your block here, you can grab onto the block with the right hand and bringing the left hand to the left hip. Continuing with our deep twist today. Perhaps this is enough, just hanging out here in this modified warrior three. Or perhaps you'd like to start opening up through the left side. Again, allowing the twist to come from the center of the body and the core as you move into twisted half moon. And if you have the balance, you can look up to the left hand. Otherwise, just finding a drishti, a focal point on the floor, a couple feet away from you as you breathe. One more inhale. And exhale, bringing both hands down to the floor or block. And with control, slowly drawing that right foot back together to meet the left foot. Inhale, standing up. You can shake out that right leg. Good work. That one is not easy. I'll flip around to face you. So this time the block can come out aligned with your left foot, a foot or so in front of your left foot. And coming into Tadasana. Now bringing the weight into the right side of the body. We'll start to lift up that left leg, coming forward into airplane with the arms outstretched back behind the body. Noticing the hips here, leveling off the hips. Left toes facing to the mat. Strong engagement through the left heel. You can bring the arms out in front of you if you'd like for Warrior 3. And stay here, or bringing that left hand down to the block. Right hand to the right hip. Stay here, or starting to lift that right arm up for your twisted half moon. And if you have the balance, you can look up to that right hand. Otherwise, find that drishti, your focal point, on the floor a few inches out away from you. I remember when I first started doing yoga, this pose was not possible for me. It looked something more like this, and that was about as strong as I could do. But practice and persistence always brings improvement, more focus. Breathing here. And exhaling, bringing both hands down to the block. And slowly with control, stepping that left foot to meet the right. Exhale, forward fold. You can shake out that right leg if you would like. And coming back into a forward fold, just releasing everything down. Great work. And then I just want to face this way for funsies, but we're gonna come down. We're gonna work on coming down to a seated position. First, coming all the way up, raising the arms up and overhead and coming up onto the tiptoes here. And we'll start to walk, reaching one arm and then the other. I learned this fun move from one of my favorite teachers who lives in Guatemala most of the year. And she says, the prissier you are, the more this movement will massage your adrenal glands, the glands that live right on top of your kidneys and your back. So get prissy as you're walking, finding this movement, really reaching up to the sky, maybe imagining that you're picking some delicious fruit off of the trees up there. And then walking back to the front of your mat, staying up on your tiptoes, energetically drawing the inner ankles together as you begin to bend the knees, slowly with control, sinking down. Coming into a toe stand here. Again, strongly drawing the heels together. The heels aren't touching, but we're just taking care not to let the heels splay out. We want to energetically draw those together, drawing the knees together, engaging bellies, hands at heart center. Breathing here, balancing. If the balance here is really difficult for you, bring your hands down to the mat. One more breath. And then bringing the arms out in front of you, leaning forward to slowly come to sitting any way that you can. And then we'll bring the legs out long, sitting up nice and tall here for our seated forward fold. Again, if you have a blanket, you can fold it I love to have just a little bit of a lift underneath my hips for this position because I am very tight in the hamstrings, and I find that having just that little bit of lift helps me to tilt my pelvic bowl forward and keep my spine nice and flat. So something that I struggled with for years was I didn't have the core strength to hold myself up in this pose, and so I would end up rounding forward in order to come forward into the stretch. But instead of doing that, it's more important to cultivate that core strength. So really drawing navel to spine, again imagining that string attached to the crown of your head pulling you up, and drawing the spine forward, low spine and belly energetically drawing forward to the toes, heart shining out through the chest. There can be a slight bend in your knees as you pull the toes back toward your face. So full body engagement here. You can press the hands strongly alongside the hips just to, take a little bit of that work out of the core. And just enjoy what it feels like to have a long, tall spine here. Breathing for a moment or two. And then we'll exhale. Inhale, arms come up tall. And exhale, drawing forward to our seated forward fold. So in seated forward fold, we want to think belly to the knees, chest to the toes. Again, it's more important to keep the spine strong and long here, rather than how far forward you come. It really doesn't matter how far forward you come. When I first started, I was literally like here, and I didn't have the core strength, so I was like this. But instead, keeping that spine strong. And wherever you are today is beautiful. It's your process, it's your body. You are enough, you are perfect exactly as you are today. One more inhale and exhale, coming forward just a bit more. And then we'll inhale, arms reaching up. Exhale, planting back down. You can bring the knees to bend here, hands coming back behind you, and windshield wiper the legs back and forth, just releasing the hips, allowing fresh blood and prana to flow through the full length of the legs. Always pressing into those arms to keep the chest and heart shining upward. And then coming back to bring the legs out long. We'll grab onto that left knee here, or the left hand, or the left foot, grabbing the, oh my gosh, I got my sides mixed up too. So I'm actually on the right side. So grabbing that right foot with both hands and drawing it in toward the center of the body. You can breathe here. Perhaps this is where you want to stay, or if you'd like to go deeper, you can draw that foot into the left crook of the elbow and the knee into the right elbow, holding your shin like a baby, cradling here, keeping both feet flexed, and finding a gentle rocking motion here, breathing into the opening in the right hip flexor. Almost done, you guys. Great work so far. One more inhale, noticing the spine. If it's rounding down, we want to engage, coming up tall. And then releasing it out. Same thing other side, drawing the left foot into the body, grabbing it with both hands. Maybe you'd like to stay here, or maybe taking that shin, cradling it like a baby, and just finding a little back and forth rocking motion here. Breathing into the left hip flexor, engaging both feet. One more inhale, make it juicy. And exhale, grabbing the foot again to release back out. And then you can keep that blanket. I'm going to remove it. It's up to you, yogi's choice. and bringing the soles of the feet together here. So maybe for you, this looks like this, or as you gain more flexibility, the heels can come in closer to the hips, rocking side to side here a little bit, just getting situated, finding your center of gravity, and then opening the feet up like a book. So using your hands to open those feet, and then holding on to the feet to draw the low spine forward, coming back to our tall spine, and inhaling here. Perhaps you'd stay here, or if you'd like to, start to fold forward just a bit, only coming forward as far as you can while keeping that spine really flat and strong. Breathing. Relaxing your beautiful body, no matter what the shape of the pose looks like. Your body is beautiful and perfect exactly how it is. We'll exhale and inhale, coming back up, grabbing onto the left foot. We'll start to draw it over, and then grabbing the right foot, we'll pull the feet to opposite sides, working on bringing those knees to stack on top of each other, but we may not get there today. Just take a moment to draw the flesh out from underneath the sits bones so that you're firmly planting both of your hips onto the mat. So if we draw our right knee over to, or our left knee over to the right too much, sometimes we want to just put all of the weight onto the right hip. But instead, I would invite us to round weight evenly into both hips and adjust the legs accordingly. So the stretch will come from working the knees toward the center. But like I said, if we don't get there today, we'll get there someday. Or maybe not. It's not about the pose. It's just about the stretch and breathing in with the moment. So you're probably already feeling a stretch here. I am. If you'd like to intensify, you can just bring both hands onto that top knee and just gently press down. If you'd like to intensify even more, you can bring the hands back in front of you. And keeping the spine nice and tall, you can start to walk the fingertips forward, only coming as forward as you can while keeping the spine flat. Breathing here. One more inhale and exhale, walking yourself back up. We'll bring the hands out behind us, firmly planting, drawing the spine long, rolling the shoulder blades back, and then we'll bring the feet to a bent position, windshield wiper the legs again, bringing fresh prana into the hips. And then we'll do the same thing with the other leg on top. So drawing the left leg underneath you, right leg on top this time. Taking a moment to come long, removing the flesh from underneath your sits bones and firmly planting down through both hips. Then adjusting the legs accordingly. Working those knees to be on top of each other, but wherever you are today is great. And coming up tall, breathing into this stretch. Next modification is to bring both hands on top of the right knee, just gently pressing down to intensify. And next would be to walk the fingertips forward. Releasing. We really got into the hips today, and we did a lot of stretching. We did a lot of twisting today. Beautiful, beautiful work, everyone. Breathing here with the spine long. One more inhale Exhale, walking the fingertips back up, bringing the hands back behind you, and windshield wiping the legs, just releasing. And then keeping the legs bent, we'll bring the arms alongside of us and slowly, with control, lowering vertebrae by vertebrae down onto the mat. If we were in a room together, I'd say the last person down wins. So allowing the shoulders and head to come down last. And then bending the knees a little bit more, bringing the arms down alongside of you so that you can almost touch your heels with your fingertips. We'll exhale, relaxing here for a moment. Inhale, lifting the hips for our bridge pose. Perhaps you'd like to stay here. Take care not to move the head side to side in bridge pose, but keep the nose pointed strongly up toward the sky, pressing into the back of the neck, back of the head to protect the neck. And listen carefully. The option to interlace the fingertips underneath you, roll the shoulders underneath you, and just like we did when we were back bending in lunge, bringing those hands together. If the fingers are interlaced, drawing the palms and the wrist together energetically. So strong engagement through both arms. Pressing the full length of both arms into the mat as you continue to lift your hips. One more inhale. And then exhale, release everything back down to the mat. Relaxing. I'll cue bridge once more. If you have a wheel in your practice and would like to take wheel, please go ahead and do so. Otherwise, pressing into both arms. Bending knees as you inhale, lift the hips up to the sky. Stay here or interlace the hands with the other pinky on top, so it might feel weird. And then rolling the shoulders underneath your body, drawing the palms and the wrists together as you lift the hips, pressing into the full length of the arms. And then just notice what's going on with your glutes. You might be really strongly engaging the glutes. Just to activate some different muscles, see if you can actually release the glute muscles and just hold yourself up with the thighs and the strength of the arms. So not engaging the glute muscles, but continue to lift the hips using the strength of your thighs. One more breath. Deep inhale and exhale, releasing everything down. Legs can come out long, feet flop open, palms turned up toward the sky. Getting comfortable for your Shavasana, final resting pose here. In Shavasana, fully surrendering the weight of your body to the earth. You can breathe in deeply, filling up belly, chest. At the top of the inhale, sipping in just a little bit more air. And then exhale, you can stick out the tongue, open the mouth, releasing tension. Twice more, full deep inhale, expands belly and chest. At the top, sipping in just a little bit more air and holding the breath in. And then exhale, stick out the tongue, releasing, making sound. Don't worry, no one's judging you. One more deep inhale, expanding. Completely filling up at the top, sipping in a little bit more air, holding. Exhale, stick out the tongue, releasing, feeling the earth support you. As you close the eyes and sink into your Shavasana, we'll only be here for a few moments. Please Stay for Shavasana. It's the most important part of our yoga class. Just noticing any thoughts that arise. No need to engage with them or talk or go down your storyline. Rather just notice the thoughts, acknowledge them, and release them. Just letting whatever comes up pass like clouds passing through the sky. Beginning to wiggle the fingers and toes, deepening the breath once more. Can roll off onto one side using one arm as a pillow, bending the knees, coming into fetal position, and resting in this womb space for a moment more. You are loved because you are love itself. And working your way into a seated position, keeping the eyes closed, drawing the spine long. If you'd like, you can put the blanket underneath your hips again. Bringing hands to heart center. You are loved. You are beautiful. You are enough, exactly as you are in this present moment. And we'll join our voices together in the sacred sound of Om to end class. So full exhale and inhale to Om. First full exhale, full deep inhale. Feeling the vibration through your skull. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Om shanti shanti shanti. May all beings everywhere be happy and free, and may our practice somehow contribute to that happiness and that freedom. Taking a moment to send this positive energy that we've cultivated with our practice today out into the whole world. Thank you so much for sharing your practice with me today. Namaste. So if you'd like to stay in meditation, please do so. Stay here for as long as you would like, and just go ahead and turn off the video. So just wanting to thank everyone again for tuning in, for your presence here. It's so valued and appreciated. And just if you've never practiced with me before, my name is Paisley Parvati Devi, and your feedback helps me grow as a teacher. I teach every Thursday, new yoga videos posted to my Facebook and YouTube. And I'd love to hear from you. Let me know what you'd like to see. I've also been offering a weekly inspirational reading. I'm considering offering weekly guided meditation with breathwork as well. So message me, comment, share, let me know what you'd like to hear or see. I'm here to serve, so please let me know the best way to serve you. And if you'd like to connect after I post this live video, I will also post my Linktree link, which is also in my Facebook profile. And that contains all of the links for my Instagram, my YouTube, my art pages. I have also recently created a coloring book, so that's available if anyone is in quarantine and would like to get creative and activate the parasympathetic nervous system by coloring and doing some self-care relaxing with a nice coloring book. Please contact me and we'll get you set up with that. And if you would like to and are able to contribute with a small financial contribution for this class, the link is also there in the Linktree. It's paypal.me/LivityYogini. So thank you all so much for tuning in, so much love, and enjoy the rest of your beautiful Thursday. And I look forward to connecting with you soon.